For someone from the Midwest, where the horizon never ends and a fear of gravity is almost impossible to fathom, the trip to a 14,000-foot pinnacle is something nerve-fraying. Trading a flat expanse for rocky outcroppings, while seemingly just a simple change in elevation, can elicit that adrenal fight-or-flight response like few other things on Earth. For Bob Kirby, owner of High Country Jeep Tours in Buena Vista, Colorado, that fear is a common one. But what he's found is that, like most fears, once you face it, that apprehension is quickly replaced.
As they start going up, they realize that, well, it is something different that I've never done before and I'm apprehensive about, but it's okay.
Coming from the plains of Kansas to the mountains, I mean, there's no comparison, and it's just unbelievable. Truly, I was scared about going all the way up to the top, but I made it. I feel like I proved something to myself that I'm not as chicken as I really thought I was.
Buena Vista, known by locals as Puny Buny, is just that, small, quiet, but also the access point to 15 of Colorado's 54 highest peaks. While their altitude is intimidating, companies like High Country Jeep Tours do their best to bring them down to size, showing the adventures of off-highway exploration and the history that made these lands what they are today.
We took a Jeep tour up the mountain and seen a lot of historical sites and went and seen the gold mine.
And we went into areas that I probably would never hope to see on my own. It was areas with a steep grade to it, and in remote areas, and experienced some of the beauty of nature that fella could never see from the sidewalks of the city.
Chalk Creek Canyon is where we went up, and so we were able to go up there and see some of the history and get a feel for what the people back then that was actually doing the mining, what they done and how they done it.
Chalk Creek Canyon is home to the Mary Murphy Mine, which pumped gold out from 1870 to 1925. It produced almost $4.5 million at the time, an amount that in today's currency would be over $180 million. Structures from the old mining days still weather the high mountain peaks as evidence of hardy men and women who eked out their days among the granite spires of the region.
To think of pioneers and how tough they had to be even to be in these mountains.
We turned off and went up to the mine site, and you had an idea of the struggles and the difficulty that those people had back in the 1870s and 1880s, starting then.
The Jeep Tour takes visitors from the remains of the mine and aerial tramways down to the creek itself, where gold is still plentiful even today. With his trained eye, Bob shows what to look for and even demonstrates how gold panning was done during the height of the Colorado Rush.
As a novice picking up a rock and having somebody that knew that there was gold in that rock told me that's what it was. Actually, there was enough gold there you could see that this is gold. And I mean, this is what the whole concept was about when they mined for gold.
I forgot to look for gold.
What were you doing?
Just throwing rocks.
From steep, narrow trails to a history that still shines beneath the sunlight, the off-road tour has not only introduced our friends to the mysteries of the Rocky Mountains, but their beauty as well. For someone who has never looked down from 14,000 feet, the moment can quite literally take your breath away. Fear of the unknown is common, and in that case, it's easy to understand why someone would feel trepidation about ascending to the heights. But once you're here, you'll understand that there is nothing quite like being on top of the world. Not the comforts of a hotel, the history left behind, or even the gold waiting to be discovered.
That's the joy of that. For us, people getting to see that kind of country that they would never see on their own. To be able to take people like that, to be able to take handicapped folks, just to let them see God's majesty. And that's what we're surrounded by here, is God's majesty.
Oh, Bob did a fine job of taking, I mean, he knew the history that could go along with it. I mean, could give anybody a knowledgeable trip and know where they went and remember something from where they went.
It was a very, very great trip. Great driver.
It's probably one of these experiences that I'll always remember, refreshing the mind and body and soul.
From the peaks of Colorado, I'm Stephen Heumann for AYM.